I'm Chris Novak, and I'm here to help you master the cybersecurity game. Cybersecurity is like a high-stakes puzzle. Every piece counts. One wrong move, and your entire enterprise could be at risk. The 2024 Data Breach Investigations Report paints a clear picture. Cyber threats are becoming more sophisticated, more frequent, and more costly. We're talking about protecting your most valuable assets, your reputation, and your ability to operate. We'll break down the building blocks of cybersecurity piece by piece to help you fortify your defenses and stay ahead of the game. Let's talk about the most unpredictable element in your business, human error. We all make mistakes, right? But in cybersecurity, one little slip up can open the floodgates. Imagine this. You've built a fortress, complete with all the latest defenses, but your guard at the front leaves the gate unlocked for a lunch break, leaving an opening for your adversary to just walk right in. Here's the kicker. Many businesses still see cybersecurity as an expense, not an investment. But a single mistake can cost you far more than any missed sales target. Human error can lead to financial loss, reputation damage, and customer trust erosion. In the long run, protecting your business is the best investment you can make. When you realize you've been hacked, the first thing to do is contain the breach. Disconnect compromised devices from the network immediately. Our Data Breach Investigations Report unveiled that 68% of breaches involve human error. This isn't just a statistic, it's a wake-up call. You need to turn your team into your first line of defense, not your weakest link. Picture this. A phishing email lands in your employee's inbox. It looks innocent enough, maybe a fake invoice or a request for information. One click, and the attacker has a foothold in your system. From there, it's a domino effect. They exploit vulnerabilities, escalate privileges, and before you know it, they're deep inside your network. The most common entry point? Web applications, like an unlocked door, inviting intruders in. In fact, breaches through web apps have nearly tripled this year, according to the Data Breach Investigations Report. Whether it's exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities or simply taking advantage of weak passwords, these breaches are as varied as they are dangerous. Knowing these pathways is the first step in fortifying your defenses. If you're serious about your business's cybersecurity, first, focus on education. Increase the frequency of your cybersecurity training drills. They can't be a once-a-year snooze fest. Phishing simulations, up-to-date threat briefings, even gamification, keep your team sharp. If they understand that their actions can have a positive impact, they're more likely to be one of your best cyber defenders. Second, enforce strong password policies. Encourage the use of harder to crack passwords and passphrases, and implement multi-factor authentication to add an extra layer of protection. If you're already doing those things and want to go the extra mile, consider using biometrics or going passwordless. 3, use technology. Implement tools that reduce the chance of human error, like automatic threat detection systems that flag suspicious activities before a human even sees them. Lastly, create a culture where employees feel comfortable reporting mistakes. The sooner you know about a potential breach, the quicker you can act to contain it and educate the team. Ransomware. It's not just a headline-grabbing threat. It's a real and present danger to businesses of all sizes. Our Data Breach Investigations Report reveals that 23% of breaches involved ransomware, and the percentage of ransom-related events jumps to 32% when you include extortion tactics employed by threat actors. Imagine a significant portion of your critical data suddenly inaccessible to you, your operations grinding to a halt, and a hefty ransom demand looming over your head. And here's where it gets tricky. Do you pay the ransom? Think of it like this. Paying up is like handing your lunch money to the school bully. It might save you today, but there's no guarantee they'll give you your data back, or that they haven't already made copies or leaked it. Instead, flip the script. Train your team to spot the signs of trouble before it hits. And always have a solid backup strategy in place. Because when the ransom demand lands, you want to be the one who says, "Nice try, but we've prepared for this." Today, companies can't sweep these attacks under the rug. There are regulations that require you to report if and how much you paid. Insurance might or might not bail you out once, but it's like flood insurance. Too many claims, and they'll drop you faster than you can say ransomware. After that, getting coverage again? Not likely, or ridiculously expensive, or you can't afford the coverage you actually need. To summarize, back up everything. Set up automated backups that happen daily. This isn't just about having a copy, It's about ensuring that even if your primary systems are hit, you can get back online without paying a cent. Segment your network. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. By segmenting your network, you can contain a ransomware attack to just one part of your business instead of letting it spread. Creating a detailed incident response plan that outlines who does what when ransomware hits. This plan should be tested regularly, like a fire drill, so everyone knows their role. Targeted threats are the kind that keep CIOs and CISOs up at night because they're not just random, they're specific, calculated, and relentless. These attacks are tailored to exploit the unique weaknesses of your organization, and that's why investing in threat intelligence is critical. Social engineering is the ultimate con job. Hackers aren't breaking down doors, they're sweet-talking their way inside. In the world of business, it's the equivalent of a doppelganger CEO walking into a board meeting and walking out with the company's secrets. It's not about technology, it's about exploiting trust. I've got Todd Fitzgerald, VP of Cybersecurity Strategy, joining me to share his take. Todd, as someone who has spent a lot of time with CISOs, professionally or in your podcast days, what are the best strategies CISOs can use to improve their security posture and stay ahead of these smarter cyber criminals?
Well, thanks, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here. I think two of the most important things that we need to focus on are risk and trust. And we do that by building with the right stakeholders throughout the organization. And we need to look at what are those business processes that we're trying to protect and how are we really protecting those? And then applying the right threat intelligence to that problem. Because if we don't do that, we're really missing a lot of the organization. Control frameworks, they're great, but they really don't help us get to protecting the business assets unless we're focusing those controls on the right assets.
I couldn't agree more. Now, let's get into the mind of the enemy. Cybercriminals, they're not just hackers, they're strategists playing a game of chess where your business and its data is the prize. But what if you had your own team of grandmasters on your side? That's where ethical hacking comes in. It's like having an undercover cop who knows all the tricks because they've been there. Threat intelligence is about staying informed, knowing who your adversaries are, what tactics they're using, and where your vulnerabilities lie. At Verizon, our team dives deep into the dark web, not to browse, but to hunt. They think like the bad actors to protect the good ones. Remember that scene in every heist movie where the mastermind explains the plan? That's what we do. We anticipate every move the hackers might make and set up countermeasures before they even think of them. It's not just about defense, it's about outsmarting the attacker at every turn. So where do we start? Invest in ethical hacking. Hire or outsource to ethical hackers, or sometimes called penetration testers, who will probe your defenses for weaknesses. These white hats will find vulnerabilities before the bad actors do so that you can fix them fast. Employ dark web monitoring. Stay ahead by keeping an eye on the dark web. Your data might be floating around there, and you need to know about it before it's used against you. Consider Verizon's managed security services. With cyber criminals getting more creative, some even landing jobs at companies and hacking from the inside, you need a defense that's smarter. That's where Verizon's managed security services come in. We're not just hunting threats on the dark web, we're constantly monitoring, detecting, and responding to potential breaches, even from within your own walls. A cyber breach is like a silent assassin. It strikes without warning. And by the time you realize what's happened, the damage is already done. But the real cost isn't just financial, it's the hit to your reputation. Imagine every one of your competitors seeing your dirty laundry aired out in public. Our data breach investigations report shows that 83% of breaches go unnoticed for weeks, many even longer. It's like termites quietly eating away at your foundation while you're blissfully unaware. As we move into the future, the cyber battlefield is becoming increasingly complex. And I've got Kris Philipsen, Senior Managing Director of Cybersecurity Consulting at Verizon Business, to talk about how AI and machine learning are playing a pivotal role in both attack and defense.
Thank you for having me on today's call here. And, AI is key, top of mind for everybody. Everyone's talking about it at the moment. And attackers know that, and attackers are starting to take advantage of that as well. And we see that really in three ways. Number one, entry bar of the attacker is lowered because they're now leveraging AI to do things more efficiently that they weren't able to do before. Number two, they're doing things at greater scale. in greater speed because they're no longer leveraging manual processes. And number three, they're also leveraging Gen AI and specifically social type of attacks around deepfakes, voice manipulation, and voice cloning to be able to trick and deceive employees and organizations into doing certain things because the employee thinks they're talking to somebody of trust.
Thanks, Chris. I'm sure we'll be seeing you in future episodes. We're entering an era where data privacy will be paramount. With regulations tightening around the globe, businesses will need to be more vigilant than ever about how they collect, store, and protect customer data. A breach could not only damage your reputation, but also land you in legal hot water. Consider cyber insurance as part of your risk management strategy. It won't prevent an attack, but it can help mitigate the financial impact. Finally, consider the long-term impact of a cyber attack. It's not just about the immediate loss of data or money. It's about the potential loss of customer trust, the disruption of operations, and the long road to recovery. Businesses need to be prepared for the aftermath and have a plan in place to rebuild and restore confidence. The key takeaway? Cybersecurity isn't just an IT issue, it's a business issue. And as we move into the future, those businesses that prioritize cybersecurity as a core part of their strategy will be the ones that thrive in the face of emerging threats. Cybersecurity is complex, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. We've covered a lot today, from the evolving threat landscape to the critical role your people play in defense. But if there's one thing to remember, it's this: proactive security is the key to staying ahead. Time for some rapid-fire takeaways. Number one, train your team. 68% of breaches involve human element. Make sure your team knows how to spot a threat before it becomes a disaster. Number two, multi-factor authentication. It's like adding a second lock to your door. Simple, but effective. Number three, back up your data. Ransomware is the digital equivalent of a hostage situation. Make sure you've got a backup plan so you never have to negotiate. Number four, invest in threat intelligence. It's not just about reacting, it's about predicting. Knowing what's coming down the pipeline gives you the upper hand. Create an incident response plan. Have a clear, actionable plan in place for when, not if, an incident occurs. Everyone should know their role and how to respond effectively. Number six, stay vigilant. The cyber landscape is changing every day. Complacency is your biggest enemy. Stay sharp, stay updated, and stay ahead.